I'm a 28F, and I'm getting married soon to my wonderful fiancé, 30M. I have a friend, Amy, 28F, who I've known since high school. The issue is Amy has a habit of making every situation about herself. Now that I'm planning my wedding, I'm considering not inviting her at all. I'm honestly dreading the drama she'll bring if she's there, and I am feeling a bit guilty about potentially leaving her out. Some context. Amy and I have a lot of history, but over the past few years I've distanced myself. Amy isn't a horrible person all the time. She can actually be fun and has been there for me in the past, which is probably why I've put up with her attention-seeking behavior for so long. But she absolutely needs to be the center of attention 24/7. A few examples. At another friend's graduation celebration, she hijacked the microphone during speeches to give an impromptu monologue about how she overcame challenges, turning the whole thing into being about her instead of the graduate. The poor friend was basically sidelined by her. This is the kind of pattern I'm dealing with. It's exhausting. Amy isn't malicious per se, but she genuinely believes she's entitled to everyone's attention all the time. If it's not about her, she finds a way to make it about her. It can be downright embarrassing. I really don't want that behavior at my wedding. Amy probably assumes she'll be invited to my wedding, maybe even as a bridesmaid. She's made comments hinting as much. When I officially announced who my bridesmaids would be and she realized she wasn't one of them, I heard she was pretty upset, though she never said it to me directly. She definitely made a few passive-aggressive remarks about it. The wedding isn't tiny. We're inviting around 100 guests, including some friends who know Amy. If she doesn't get an invite, it's definitely going to be noticed. I'm sure she'll take it as a personal attack if I exclude her. I do feel bad at the idea of snubbing someone I've been friends with so long. People who know us might even expect to see her there. And yeah, she'll be hurt. But I also can't shake the anxiety about what she'll do if she is there. I can practically see her wearing something outrageous to steal focus, or trying to make a drunken speech, or even announcing some surprise of her own in the middle of our reception. Honestly, my fiancé is on the exact same page as me about this. He's witnessed her antics and says we have no obligation to invite someone who might cause a scene on our big day. Some people have suggested I just invite her anyway to avoid drama or be the bigger person. But to me that feels like rewarding her bad behavior and inviting trouble. I have other close friends who are supportive and drama-free that I'd much rather celebrate with. Even a few of our mutual friends have privately said they wouldn't blame me for leaving Amy off the guest list, given her track record. I've tried to think of compromises like giving her a very minor role or seating her far away from the action. But who am I kidding? If Amy is present, there's a risk she'll create chaos. The simplest solution seems to be to not invite her at all. We haven't sent out the invites yet. We're finalizing the list now. Part of me wonders if I should at least give her a heads-up conversation, like explain why I feel the need to do this. But honestly, I'm not sure it would help. Amy isn't great with criticism or hearing no. She tends to flip the script and paint herself as the victim whenever confronted. So right now I'm leaning heavily towards not inviting her. I know she'll find out one way or another, and the fallout won't be pretty. But if I do invite her and she pulls one of her stunts, I know I'll regret it forever. I feel like my wedding day should be about me and my fiancé, not about managing one friend's drama. Would I be the asshole for not inviting her? Update 1. So I ended up following my gut and did not invite Amy to the wedding. Unfortunately, and predictably, she found out anyway. I guess it was only a matter of time. One of our mutual friends posted a photo of my wedding invitation on her Instagram story, not realizing Amy wasn't invited. And of course Amy saw it. Cue the fallout. Amy lost it. She didn't confront me directly. I haven't gotten any calls or texts from her. But she's telling anyone who'll listen that I'm a backstabbing bitch and a bridezilla for not including her. I found out she's been ranting on Facebook and to our friend group about how horribly I've treated her. A friend of ours sent me some screenshots of Amy's posts, and it's basically her painting me as this evil witch who betrayed a lifelong friend out of nowhere. According to her, I'm so full of myself now that I'm engaged, and I'm trying to cut out people who won't kiss my ass. She even dragged my fiancé into it, claiming he's somehow changed me or controls me now, which is total BS. The projection is insane, but I'm not even going to go there. It sucks because some people who don't know the full story might actually believe her. My fiancé was livid when he saw the lies she was spreading. He wanted to jump in and defend me, but we decided it was better not to engage with her publicly. I've had a couple of mutual friends and acquaintances reach out like, "Hey, Amy is saying you excluded her from your wedding. Is everything okay? I haven't spilled all the dirty laundry, but I did let them know that, yes, I'm not inviting her and I have my reasons. Thankfully, the ones who know us well just replied along the lines of, yeah, that tracks with Amy. Most of our close friends know how she is, so the Bridezilla smear campaign isn't really sticking, at least with them. If anything, her over-the-top reaction is proving my point. In fact, my maid of honor actually commented on one of Amy's Facebook rants, telling her that her behavior was out of line. A few others liked the comment, or chimed in agreement. Amy ended up deleting that post when it didn't get the reaction she wanted. As for me, I've pretty much cut contact at this stage. I'll admit seeing her call me names and lie about me was hurtful initially, but then I just got angry. I'm done with her nonsense. I quietly removed/blocked her on social media after seeing her go off on Facebook. I just don't need to see that drama. My fiancé is completely on board. He saw the stuff she was posting and just shook his head. We both agreed that engaging with her publicly or trying to defend myself would only add fuel to the fire and give her more attention, which is what she wants. So we're just letting her shout into the void. I'm focusing on work and wedding planning, and trying not to let her drama get under my skin. It is a little surreal to be called a bridezilla when I feel like I'm actually bending over backwards to avoid drama. But oh well, if she wants to play victim, I can't stop her. At this point, I'm considering her a former friend. The bridge is pretty thoroughly burned. I'm hoping this will just blow over soon. The wedding is still a couple months away, and I'd love to enjoy this time without her nonsense looming. Update 2. Remember how I hoped Amy wouldn't actually do something crazy? Yeah, that wish did not come true. This past weekend was my bridal shower, and surprise, she showed up uninvited and made a huge scene. The shower was at my mom's house. It was supposed to be a fun, chill afternoon with close friends and family. We were about an hour in, playing some silly games and snacking, when I look up and see Amy walking into the living room. For a second I thought I was seeing things. But no, it was her, uninvited and unannounced. I have no clue how she found out the ones where I kept that info off public posts, so either she pumped someone for details or snooped somehow. However she did it, she actually had the nerve to come in. And get this, she was even wearing a white sundress of all things. Seriously, the whole room went silent and everyone just stared. My maid of honor quickly stood up and basically demanded to know what Amy was doing there. Amy put on this huge fake smile and acted all innocent, like she was just there to celebrate me. She even held up a wrapped gift box as if that made crashing okay. I was immediately angry. I told her as evenly as I could that she was not invited, and this was a private gathering. That's all it took. Her smile vanished and she blew up. Amy's face turned bright red, and she started yelling about how selfish I was, claiming she'd done so much for me, and I was ungrateful. She said I was a terrible friend, and called me a selfish bitch in front of everyone, and that I owe her an invitation to all my wedding events because we're practically sisters. She accused me of thinking I'm too good for her now, and trying to humiliate her. There was a lot of cussing and bizarre theatrics on her part, and my other guests were frozen, just watching this train wreck unfold. My mom jumped in, telling Amy to leave the house immediately. But Amy just kept going, her voice getting louder and louder. I finally snapped and shouted that this behavior was exactly why she wasn't invited, and told her to get out now. My bridesmaids moved to usher Amy out as my mom yelled over her that she needed to go now. Amy refused to budge, and in her tantrum she knocked over a small table that had some gifts and drinks on it. Glasses shattered, drinks spilled everywhere. My mom was livid. One of my friends grabbed Amy's arm and started pulling her toward the door. Between that and my mom angrily directing her, we managed to shove Amy out the front door. We immediately slammed the door and locked it. Amy began pounding on the door and screaming from the porch. Through the window we could hear her yelling that I'd regret this and calling me every name in the book, saying I was treating her like garbage. One of my aunts wanted to call the police, and honestly if she hadn't left we probably would have. After about a minute of her yelling with no response from us, she finally stormed off. Inside, I was just stunned. My bridal party and family all rushed over to check on me. I was beyond angry that she did this in front of everyone. We cleaned up the broken glass and spilled drinks. So much for a relaxing afternoon. Eventually we managed to get back to the party, trying our best to salvage the day. It took me a bit to calm down, but my friends and relatives were super supportive. We opened the rest of the gifts and even managed to laugh about the absurdity of it all later on. At least she didn't jump out of the cake. Still, I wouldn't wish that ordeal on anyone. Out of morbid curiosity, we later unwrapped the gift she left behind. It was a picture frame with an old photo of me and her from our school days. Not sure if that was meant as a sweet gesture or a guilt trip, but it definitely felt manipulative. That evening I told my fiancé everything. He was furious, but not exactly surprised. Both he and my mom think we should have security or some kind of plan for the wedding now. My mom, once she calmed down, basically said I'm better off without Amy as a friend at all. We've already alerted our venue coordinator about Amy and given them her name and photo, so they can keep an eye out. My bridesmaids and family are also on notice to be watchful on the big day. I'm not taking any chances after this. Unsurprisingly, Amy still didn't back off quietly. Later that night, she actually sent me a text from a random new number, basically saying I'm a horrible friend and that I would regret doing this to her. I blocked that number too without replying. I'm just done. I still can't believe she actually did that to my bridal shower. Any lingering doubts I had about cutting her off are 100% gone now. If she thought crashing the shower would somehow pressure me into inviting her, she achieved the opposite. All she did was reinforce exactly why she's not invited. The wedding is coming up fairly soon. I'm a little anxious about what other tricks she might have up her sleeve, but at least we're prepared now. I truly hope she just gives up after that public embarrassment. We'll see what happens. Update 3. I really hoped the bridal shower blow-up would be the end of all this drama. For a few weeks after that, things were actually quiet. No new incidents, no online rants, at least that I heard about. I started to cautiously relax, thinking maybe Amy was finally backing off. Well, I was wrong. A couple of days ago, my fiancé got some news that left us both speechless. It turns out Amy is now dating one of his groomsmen. Yes, really. I even asked if he was joking, he wasn't. They apparently matched on Tinder sometime recently, went on a few dates, and are now officially together, according to what she's been telling people. Honestly, I wouldn't put it past her to have swiped right on him deliberately, knowing exactly who he was. It feels like she thought she'd discovered a perfect loophole to force her way back into our wedding. The groomsman, I'll call him David, had no idea about the ongoing drama with Amy. He knew of her. I think they'd met in passing at some point through me or friends, but he didn't know anything about her recent antics. So David reached out to my fiancé basically to ask, in a very awkward way, if it would cause any issues if he brought his new girlfriend, Amy, as his +1 to our wedding. Apparently Amy had told him something like she and I were close but had a little misunderstanding. She seriously downplayed what happened, of course. I can only imagine the fairy tale version she fed him. When my fiancé got that call, he about lost it. He filled David in on the full story. To say David was shocked would be an understatement. He had basically been under the impression that Amy was some innocent ex-friend who maybe got accidentally left off an invite or something. He told my fiancé that she never mentioned any of the crazy stuff. No surprise there. David was pretty upset to learn the truth. He actually apologized to us, saying if he had known, he never would have gotten involved with her. I feel bad that he got dragged into this. He seems like a genuinely good guy who unfortunately stumbled right into her web. He said Amy had been eager to come to the wedding with him, and until now he didn't realize how bizarre that request was. After that call, my fiancé and I just looked at each other in disbelief. We were like, you can't be serious, you can't make this stuff up. My fiancé made it clear that under no circumstances is Amy welcome at our wedding, +1 or not. David completely understood and said he figured that would be the case once he heard the whole story. But of course, this isn't just about what he understands. Amy was not happy when she found out she wouldn't be allowed to come as his date. From what David told us, as soon as he relayed to Amy that the bride and groom have said no, she flipped out on him. She started accusing him of not standing up for her, and she apparently went on a tirade about how I'm a controlling witch who is trying to ruin her happiness. Projection, anyone? She told him that I hate her and am just abusing my bridezilla power to bully her. It's the same garbage she said before, but now she's spewing it to this poor guy who just got caught in the middle. Believe it or not, Amy then tried to convince David that he should drop out of the wedding entirely in solidarity with her. Yes, she expected him to quit being a groomsman because his friend's fiancé won't invite his new girlfriend. Thankfully, David has a spine and shut that idea down. He told her he's still going to be in the wedding, and that whatever issues she has with me are between her and me. Apparently that did not go over well. She gave him an ultimatum, basically saying that if he cared about her at all, he wouldn't attend the wedding unless she can go too. Mind you, they've been dating for a few weeks tops at this point. David was really conflicted and upset when he called us about all this. He still likes Amy, but he's also now seen this really ugly side of her. He didn't want to abandon my fiancé's wedding over a woman he just started seeing, but she was putting a ton of pressure on him. My fiancé told him we'd understand if he needed to step down to keep the peace in his relationship. As much as it would suck, we didn't want him to be miserable. But David said no way. He wouldn't feel right bailing on his friends because of her. He apologized that his +1 turned out to be a whole soap opera and said he's going to try to get her to calm down. Well, calm is not in Amy's vocabulary. The latest update from David is that Amy is furious and still insisting she should be his +1. She's been blowing up his phone with texts, alternating between crying about how awful we are and then raging that he isn't doing more to get her invited. She's also floated some pretty unhinged ideas, like insisting that if he just brings her along, we wouldn't dare kick her out if she's on his arm. Oh, wanna bet? It sounds like she's even been bragging that we can't stop her from showing up, one way or another. So yeah, that's where we're at. We told David we don't hold any of this against him. It's not his fault he matched with a drama queen on Tinder. I'm honestly grateful he gave us a heads up, so we're not blindsided on the day. He's still committed to being a groomsman, though I have a feeling his fling with Amy may not last much longer given all this. My fiancé and I have had to have the whole security talk again. We're likely going to hire an extra guards for the venue, because I am not in the mood for any more surprises. I never thought I'd need bouncers at my wedding, but if that's what it takes, so be it. The wedding is literally right around the corner now. I'm trying to focus on the fact that I'll soon be marrying the love of my life, but it's hard not to stress about what Amy might do. Honestly, this whole ordeal has been taking a toll on me. I've lost sleep picturing worst-case scenarios, like her crashing the ceremony or causing a scene. At this point, we've done everything we can to prepare, so I just have to cross my fingers and hope for the best. Update 4. Finally, some good news. We got married and it was absolutely wonderful. I'm officially a Mrs. now, and despite all of Amy's attempts, our wedding day was pretty much perfect. But it wasn't without one last bit of expected drama. Here's how it went down. After my last update, things escalated one more time. Amy actually threatened to object during the ceremony. You know, the whole speak now or forever hold your peace line. She somehow communicated from a new number and via email, since I have her blocked everywhere, that she planned to show up and wreck the ceremony by objecting. We took that threat extremely seriously. My fiancé and I immediately hired an extra security guard, in addition to the venue's own security, and gave them her photo with instructions that she was banned from the premises. We warned our wedding coordinator and all the venue staff as well, so everyone was on high alert for her. For my own sanity, I even arranged a subtle signal with our coordinator in case Amy somehow slipped through. But thankfully I never saw that signal because everything went smoothly. Well, the big day came. I was a little on edge at first knowing she might try something, but as soon as I started walking down the aisle on my dad's arm and saw my soon-to-be husband waiting for me, all my nerves just evaporated. I actually felt calm and completely focused on my husband and the moment. And guess what? The ceremony went off without a hitch. She did show up, but she never even got close to us. According to a couple of friends who witnessed it, Amy arrived at the venue about 20 minutes before the ceremony, all dressed up and trying to blend in with the other guests. The moment she stepped onto the property, our security team spotted her. They intercepted her at the entrance and told her to leave immediately. Of course, Amy being Amy, she caused a huge scene at the door. She shouted that she was with the groomsmen and tried to bluff her way in by dropping David's name, but the guards were already informed that David had no +1. When that failed, she went ballistic. She was screaming that she had a right to be there, that I can't keep her out of everything, just making a massive ruckus. Some arriving guests saw the commotion. A few of my friends quickly realized what was happening and made sure to steer clear. And even David didn't come to her rescue. The staff actually notified David, who was already inside with the other groomsmen, that his date was causing trouble outside. David told them flat out, "She's not my guest," and that they should do whatever they needed to do to remove her. He did not go out to help her. So with 0 allies and security blocking her way, Amy had no chance. They warned her that the police would be called if she didn't leave. She kept shrieking and even tried to shove past the guards at one point, but that went nowhere. Eventually, she was physically escorted off the property, still hurling insults and making a fool of herself in the parking lot. The bottom line, she never got in. I did not see or hear any of this as it was happening, thankfully. Our security and wedding crew kept it completely away from me as planned. I only heard the full story after I was already happily married. The ceremony itself was beautiful and uninterrupted. When the officiant asked if anyone objected, there was nothing but silence. I know a few people who were in on the situation were glancing around nervously, but no one stood up. Our officiant was in on it too. He later joked that he'd been eyeing the back of the hall and was so relieved to pronounce us husband and wife without anyone yelling out. The rest of the day was a dream. Our reception was so much fun. We danced, ate, and celebrated with our favorite people. My dad gave the sweetest, most tear-jerking toast that had everyone cheering. We took a ton of goofy pictures in the photo booth. And the cake was delicious. In the aftermath, Amy has been pretty quiet. She put up a couple of very vague, melodramatic Facebook posts about betrayal and being stabbed in the back. But nobody is engaging with her nonsense. My husband and I are actually in the middle of packing for our honeymoon to Italy as I write this final update. We're so excited to start this new chapter and leave all this drama behind us.